Jireh, you are enough.
Can I hear you sing it from the depths of your belly? Jireh.
Jireh, you are enough.
That's how it's going to sound when you get to heaven. Jireh.
Jireh, you are enough.
That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. Himashikama. Tamamasi abashi. Hey. 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 They don't worship him. 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 If you know he's Alpha and Omega, if you know he's Alpha and Omega, this is a good place to worship. This is a good place to worship. This is a good place to worship. Hey, you worship Jesus. You worship Jesus. You worthy Jesus. You worthy Jesus. You worthy Jesus. You worthy Jesus. You worthy. Say praise is what it's what I do. Praise, praise is what I
If you would like to learn more about the Empowerment Worship Center of Dallas or would like to become a member, please visit empowermentworshipcenterofdallas.com. If you would like to give, please give via Cash App at Empowerment WCD or via PayPal at pay.me/EWCD. Now here's a word from our pastor, Pastor L.D. Jackson of the Empowerment Worship Center of Dallas.
Y'all, let me tell y'all this. If you can, just go with me to the book of Genesis chapter 3. We're going to make this quick. I got 28 minutes and I'm rolling out of here. Y'all shout 28 minutes. Y'all give me 28 minutes of your time and I promise you we're going to ride up out of here real quickly. Genesis chapter 3, verse number 1. And it reads, "Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord had made. And he said to the woman, Has God said, you shall not eat of any tree of the garden?" Number 2 says, "And the woman said to the serpent, We may eat of the fruit from the trees of the garden, but from the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God has said, You will not eat of it, nor will you touch it, or else you will die." Verse number 4 says, then the serpent said to the woman, you will not surely die. For God knows the day you eat of this tree, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil. Y'all, please do me one more favor. Jump over to the book of 1 Peter chapter 4. 1 Peter chapter 4. 1 Peter chapter 4. I promise you, you don't want to miss this sermon that's getting ready to go out today. 1 Peter chapter 4, verse number 4. And it says, of course your former friends are surprised when you no longer plunge into the flood of the wild and destructive things they do, so they slandered you. And if you can do me a huge favor as you prepare to take your seats, just look to your neighbor and say, neighbor. Scream it like we do at Empowerment. Say, neighbor. Oh, neighbor. Today's topic is no time for impersonations. They didn't even hear. Look at somebody else that you didn't come with, that you don't know, and just scream at them one more time. Say, neighbor, there is no time for impersonations. I'm about to preach this thing how I feel it, and I'm about to get us out of here. I'm going to need 3 people who don't mind joining me in the front. Come here, Pastor Mike. Where did Pastor Mike? Oh, he had to disappear. Amen. I need 3 people. 3 people. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Run to the altar. Run to the altar. Run to the altar. I need 3 people. Come on, get the young people involved. There they go. The young people coming. There we go. Get the young people involved. Here it is. I'm about to, y'all gonna help me preach this thing. Everybody grab a seat. I'm about to preach this thing, and we're about to ride up out of here. All right. There was a police officer, wannabe police officer, that stood in Virginia directing traffic. Here's the only problem with that police officer. The one who was directing traffic, he was standing in the center of where all the traffic had to turn in order for them to successfully make the proper turn that they needed to make. So here's the problem, Aisha. As he was standing in the middle of the road, the officer never had the opportunity to tell them which way to go because he was standing in their way. Here's the problem that I had with this, because I was wondering, where did this man get licensed to actually police people? And the other question I had is, where was the real sheriff when this man decided to pull an unmarked vehicle in the middle of traffic and try to direct other people? I'm about to help somebody preach this thing, because there's a lot of people right now that's impersonating their beliefs and who they say God really is. Here it is, because you stand around and 1 minute you claim that God got your back, but the next minute you're claiming that you're going through hell and you don't know how you're going to get out of it. Well, here is an answer for some people. If you actually stop impersonating what you believe, then God will start activating what you say. All right, here it is. Here it is. So what ended up happening is this officer ended up getting rolled up on by real officers, by real cops. And they rolled up on him. They said, where did you come from? And this young man said, they sent me from Vidalia, this little country area out there in the middle of nowhere. And they said they sent me here to direct traffic because the lights weren't working. Here is the problem that I have with this, because any officer that got common sense understands that another city would never send somebody to direct traffic somewhere else. I'm about to help y'all understand something. So they asked him again, where did you come from? So then they said it again. They sent me from the middle of nowhere, and they told me that the lights weren't working. So they said, show me your evidence. Show me evidence that you are who you say that you are. So he begins to pull out this badge that you can buy from the Dollar General. He begins to pull out this card that you can print by yourself. And watch this. He began to show these officers all of these credentials that had nothing behind it. I'm about to help y'all in this place. So after he showed him the credentials, this is the part where he messed up at. He forgot that everything requires a seal in order to make it official. Y'all, I'm in the text. I'm about to help you. Because there's a lot of people right now that's not, God, I hear you, that's operating without a seal. You have not been approved to do nothing. You have not been assigned to do nothing. You have not been obligated to do nothing. The reason why you're obligating yourself, I'm about to help you. The reason why you're going through what you're going through is you keep obligating yourself to stuff that God never sealed for you to have. So what ends up happening is you get into the text, and when we get into the text, watch this, you find out real quickly that you can't listen to everything that comes to you. Here it is. This is the problem, y'all. I'm about to preach this thing. Adam was the one that God introduced Eve to. God, watch this. Adam was the one that was given, and the rib was used to actually help create woman. Watch this. I'm about to mess you up. But God never spoke to Eve. I'm about to help y'all. He never spoke to Eve. So Sister Yvette, this is what happened. Here it is. While they were trying to figure out what the serpent's voice was, watch this. Eve was able to be brought into impersonation. Because when the serpent introduced himself, he didn't give a name. When the serpent introduced himself, he didn't introduce himself as a serpent. The Bible said a serpent. But the serpent never introduced himself as a serpent. If anybody actually reads the Bible and you start to pay attention to the hermeneutics, and I'm about to help y'all understand this, you actually start to learn that everything that's in the text didn't get a name. So what happened is something appeared that had a voice. God, I'm about to preach this thing. Something appeared to Eve that had a voice. The problem, watch this, was because God never made a connection with Eve. She was able to be used in the garden. So when she got into the garden, watch this. And the serpent began to talk. This is the problem that I have with Eve. Eve should have known that her husband was somewhere near. Here's the problem that I got with the text. Church, where was Adam when the serpent showed up? Why wasn't Adam by Eve's side the whole way through? Because watch this. Eve was able to be psyched and tricked by the enemy because she was not 100% familiar with the instructions. No time for impersonations. I'm about to help y'all. Y'all are sitting in three chairs, right? Here it is. You got this chair, which you probably, if you actually look at it, it looks pretty steady. Don't look like you're going to fall. Watch this. You got this chair sitting up high. It looks real good. It don't look like it's going to fall. It looks pretty steady. Then you got this chair. Same thing. It looks good. It's in the right position. If something was to happen, watch this. But here it is. One of those three chairs were not properly put together. They all look alike. They have the same design. They're all designed to do the same thing, but one of them were not properly put together. Here it is. I'm in the Bible. I'm about to preach this thing, and I'm about to help you. Because here it is. Eve, although she had everything from Adam that was required to operate, the issue was Eve didn't have Adam's mindset. But you're saying, he made him flesh of my flesh, bone of my bone. That's what the Bible says. Here it is. To blow your mind. He never said, he said flesh of my flesh, bone of my bone, but he never said I gave her his brains. He never said, I gave her his mentality. He just said, I gave you something to keep you covered. I'm in the Bible. So what ended up happening is she ate the fruit, and then because Adam was so weak-minded, Adam took the fruit and he ate it with her. But here is where the impersonation comes in. Here it is. Because after they do all of that, they start trying to sew stuff together to cover themselves up. Because they thought that they could get away from God. They thought that they could run from God. They thought that they can hide from God. But how many people understand that there is no way, no trial, no circumstances that will allow you to keep yourself hidden from God? Here it is. So they try to go hide. Watch this, Brother Malcolm. They try to go hide and cover themselves up, thinking God wasn't going to play hide and seek and find out where they was at. You're right. He said, I'll give you common sense, I'll give you everything, and I'll give you knowledge. This is the part that messed me up. When God called them, they obviously didn't understand the game because they answered, God, I hear you. They answered telling God where they were. Here it is. Y'all, catch this. If you're going to hide from somebody, why respond to them? If the point of me putting myself in clothes and wrapping myself up to hide from you, then why when I called you did you respond? Here it is. Because watch this. The voice sounded different. Y'all, I'm about to preach this thing. The voice sounded different. There's a lot of you in this world right now that are listening to the wrong voices. And you're wondering why God is always trying to come back and find you. I'm so glad that we serve a God that cares enough about you to come see about you even when you don't understand the right voice. I'm about to help you understand it because there's too many people playing hide and seek with God. I promise you, you ain't about to hide and go get nothing if you don't keep yourself in alignment with what God is getting ready to do. I promise you this, if you don't find a place that allows you to be who God called you to be, you will never understand God's voice. Here it is. So, all of them, here it is. They all ran up here, volunteered to sit in the chair. Again, 3 chairs, all of them got the same position. One of them was improperly put together. I'm about to preach this thing because even these chairs have characteristics. Here it is. Because they're all impersonating something. They're impersonating safety. Nah, God, I hear you. They're impersonating stability. They're impersonating quality. But all of them are less than $100. I think I just left everybody. The plane is getting ready to take off. So what happens is we fall for things that look good. We fall for things that sound good. But the problem is they're not valuable to you. I don't know who I'm preaching to today. But God says, I dare you to just tap yourself right there and just shout that I am valuable. Y'all, I don't think y'all even understood. I said, tap yourself real good and just shout, I am valuable. I don't know who I'm talking to in this place, but you will not be like this always, because the value that's written for your life will never be able to be impersonated. What God has called you to be will not have a chance to be impersonated. You can't trick me, you can't fool me, because I know who I am. Here it is. We're in the text, 1 Peter chapter 4, and I promise you, we rolling up out of here. How many minutes I got left? How many minutes? I got 12 minutes and we rolling. Here it is, 1 Peter chapter 4, verse number 4, and it says, of course, your former friends are surprised when you're no longer where they get, I gotta hear you, when you're no longer where they coming to you from. Here it is. First lady, your old friends always show up to your last destination. It's funny because your old friends, they always try to appear at your last destination. The serpent, said, only remembered which tree not to eat from was me. God, I read you. The only reason the serpent had access to where the tree was not, God, that you weren't supposed to eat from, watch this, was because he remembered where God sent him first. He remembered the tree because when the animals and the firmaments were placed on the ground, the first place he put the serpents were under a tree. How is it that he placed animals in a position where they would turn on him? Is because he knew the assignment that was on Adam's life. Here it is. And some of you have an assignment that's on your life, and the only reason you will not reach your destiny is you keep going back to your old destinations trying to get to new levels. I'm about to help somebody in here, because if you continue to walk through the old ways of life trying to get to elevation, you will only get the same results. I don't know who I'm preaching to in here, but there's a lot of us in this life that are looking for people that's not where they used to be. You keep going back to them hoping that you can get the same results. You keep trying to pick up old relationships. You're trying to pick up old friends. You're trying to pick up old sayings. And God is saying, in this season, I'm getting ready to make sure when you walk back to your old destination, the things that you're looking for will no longer be there. You ready to ride up out of here? Because I feel like preaching now. Because I dare somebody in this place to just open up your mouth and just begin to say, I am who God said I am. I want somebody to understand this, because there's going to be a time in your life where you're going to find yourself with people that don't even like you. And watch this, they're going to try to find themselves and connect themselves to you. And they're going to see you fail. The only reason people will never be able to get to you is because every time they go back to where you were, you won't even be there no more. I don't know who I'm preaching to, because I get tired of people that's trying to tell people where they're not going to be, trying to tell people where they're not going, trying to tell people who they won't make up. But God said, in this season, I'm going to make sure every serpent that comes against your life don't even know where to find you at. Every serpent that tries to come in your life won't even know where the old destination is, because in this season, God says, I'm preparing a place where you will be able to come see me in the morning, in the noonday, in the midnight hour. Because God says, God says, I'm getting ready to place you in a position where you ain't got to look for me. You ain't got to come call you, Marcia. God says, I'm going to make sure I make myself available just for you. I don't know who needs to hear it, but just because you're going through some things don't mean God don't love you. It don't mean he ain't listening. It don't mean he don't care. It don't mean he ain't watching. It don't mean he ain't listening. It just means that God is getting ready. I said God is getting ready to make the crooked road straight. He's getting ready to make everything behind you disappear. God's God's getting ready to give you hope for tomorrow. God's getting ready to heal your body. God's getting ready to turn it around. I got some people in here to shout, turn it around. Shout, turn it around. Shout, turn it around. Because God says that you were made to be the head and not the tail. That you were created to be above and not beneath. Yeah, no. Because I'm telling somebody that if you get yourself in the right position, everything that looks broken, God says he'll make it stable. Everything that looks like it won't have no layers, he'll make you be able to sit in it right in the midst of your enemies. The enemies, he may laugh at you because he knows what you're sitting on ain't even got stability. But I'm about to preach this thing in here. But can you give me your hand for a second? I'm about to help somebody understand that if you really paid attention, the chair had no stability. The chair wasn't even put together right. But I'm about to help somebody understand it. It wasn't the she had enough faith that when she sat down, that the God said, God, I never put more on you that you can bear. She sat in the seat with all the faith she had, and while she sat down, she didn't say a mumbling word because she knew. I said because she knew that her faith won't fail. I'm about to preach this thing in him. I'm about to preach this thing in him because if your faith don't fail, you'll be able to sit in places you don't belong. If your faith don't fail, you'll be able to walk in places you ain't welcome. If your faith don't fail, you'll be able to move like never before. You're going to live it. I said you're going to live it. I feel like preaching now because God will. I said God will. I said God will. I said God will. Yeah. God will. Yeah. God will. Yeah. God will see you through. I dare you to just scream to your neighbor and say, neighbor, oh neighbor, in this season, God will bring me through it. God will bring me out of it. God will bring me above it. God will. God will. Yeah. God will. Yeah. God will. Yeah.